The 311 Response Center is the main gateway to city services. As small as our population is, we do take a lot of requests. Most cities that have 311 systems, you'll find that more of their calls are question related and don't end up in service requests. Pittsburgh, I believe, is the complete opposite. The majority of our calls are going to end with a service request. Sometimes we'll get one call that will generate 25, 30 different requests.
I really believe that 311 is a great factor, probably in all cities, because if we didn't have it, then the public would probably have a harder time trying to contact these offices just on a personal level, because there's so much. So we do what we can to try to help in between, because sometimes it doesn't always have to go directly to whatever that department is, because if we can help, if we have whatever forms that need to be sent out, then that's one less step that someone has to, one less day that they have to wait for the mail to get their items and things like that. So I guess at the end of the day, as long as they're satisfied, then we've done our job.
Citizens can contact us a variety of ways. We have live operators. We've expanded our hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., which is exciting. Different hours, odd hours, feel free to call us and leave a message at 311. It answers 24 hours a day. And then we also have 311 postcards that we'll pass out at community meetings that you can fill out and send in. Those are postage paid. So if you have a group event and need some of those, please feel free to let us know. We also have a Twitter account, and our handle for that is @PGH311. And we can actually process service requests through that handle and send back your service request ID number. Through the years, we've been growing and building, and we're up to 11 staff now. And one of our most exciting endeavors at this point is we're finally getting new software. We're currently using something that was built in-house in the late 1980s, and now we're moving up to a new product. We're in the process of implementing it and hope to have full implementation by this summer or fall. So that's going to make a lot of great improvements to 311, the efficiency of the service we can provide, so we're very excited about that.
Twitter has opened up an opportunity for an entire new process to people who don't normally have an opportunity to reach out to 311. It's fast, it's monitored 24/7, generally replying to people between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. It can be challenging at times to respond to a certain person's needs with only 140 characters, but there's a few times where we have to send multiple tweets.
We're making our website more self-service, so people will be able to go in and find the answers to questions they need without having to contact us. It makes it a lot more convenient. We'll be building the knowledge base that goes along with that. For years, updating and putting more information in so that we can try to address everyone's needs.
This is the type of job where you have to have an open mind, have to have compassion, and you have to listen. Because you can easily not understand what someone says, and then it just doesn't end well. So we try to make sure that each person and their concerns, we make them aware that we are very serious about what it is that they're bringing to us, and that we want to help them, and we want to give them that feeling of it's not so much like a machine. I'm a real person when I answer the phone, and let me do what I can to help to assist you.
So
So I mentioned before that our 311 center had kind of a rocky start. We originally were housed under the Parks Department that was masquerading as Neighborhood and Development at the time. We then moved to Finance. We then moved to CIS, I think. CIS, which is our IT department. And I know a lot of you are housed under CIS. And when we were there, we were always sort of the, it wasn't very inclusive. We were sort of off on our own and very separated. So one of the other things that our mayor's done for us, I mentioned that he's given us some fabulous new colleagues, is provided a new director of CIS. And it's no longer CIS, it's Innovation and Performance. And let me tell you, it's a whirlwind. The changes that have come, not only physically to our space, but the whole structure of how we operate now. And we are a true part of that department just as much as anyone else is, as is our cable team, which did this great production. So we have to give a shout out to them as well. Our department is headed by Debra Lamb. She's worked all over the world, done some fabulous things, and finally came back to Pittsburgh. So I proudly introduce our new 311 director, Debra Lamb.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. How was lunch? Good. I know that you enjoyed some of the exercises that you did earlier this morning. So I know coming after lunch, you might be getting a little bit tired. But so if you all want to stand up and stretch a little bit and feel like a bit more relaxed, please, by all means, like get your afternoon stretch out before we get our keynote speaker. And you can have, full attention. So welcome to Pittsburgh, everyone. How many of you have been here before? How many of you first time? So yes, thank you so much for coming to our lovely city. This is, I know you're catching us in some rainy weather, but this is a good time to be here with so many activities going on. I'd just like to first, before I begin, take a special note, and actually the video did it much better than what I was going to do, but tell you, all the cool things, and maybe brag a little bit, but tell you all the cool things that 311 in Pittsburgh has been happening, and it's a true credit to Wendy Urbanic's leadership. To that. I mean, in a short period of time, as the video told you, in a year and a half, less than a year and a half, we in Pittsburgh have expanded our 311 hours. We've accepted service requests via Twitter. We have over 4,000 Twitter followers, over 1,600 service requests that we do. We've also obviously have implemented a new CRM. That we're going to be expanding throughout the different departments and whatnot. And we have a new ACD system in which we can monitor and record our calls. So all these things are happening due to Wendy's leadership and due to the team. So it's really a good time for us to talk about 311. And we really appreciate you coming here, because we know, despite all these things that we've already done, there's so much more we can do. And we know that we can learn from you as well in terms of your respective work and best practices and whatnot. So thank you. So just a little bit about, our group here and the diversity. So you probably already know most of the people here, but we are very lucky to host around over 32 different call centers from around the country. So big credit to everyone. I was lucky enough to talk to people from Durham, from North Carolina and Florida, and we have people come in as far north as Alaska, Tacoma, Virginia Beach, all over the place. We have people hosting 3-person offices, but some that are hosting 100-person offices around call centers. So it's a really diverse group from all over the country that we represent. And so as Wendy says, as a boomeranger and as a rather newcomer to city government, I find 2 really remarkable things about call centers for government that you represent. The first is that If I ever have any questions about how local government works, or who I need to talk to, or how I need to get things done, and you know that information isn't readily available, I actually just ask Wendy. Like I could ask the mayor, I guess, or I could ask some of my colleagues, but you know, the person that really knows like city government, not the way it officially works on paper, but how it can actually be applied in terms of that knowledge, is 311 and the rest of you in terms of the knowledge base that you have. I think this is one of the big challenges that, you know, collectively your knowledge of how local government works is astounding, incredible. How do I actually get the permit process to work? Who do I need to actually call in order to do X, Y, and Z? And what do I need to say to them? Or what kind of paperwork do I need to do in order to move that forward? That knowledge base is incredible. And I commend all of you for, you know, not only learning about it, but keeping up with it, but also sharing it. It's very easy to just do your own thing and not be as open about this. And what, at the end of the day, what keeps government functioning and what keeps it going in terms of operations is your knowledge of that government working at many different levels. And it's a credit to all of you. And I'm constantly impressed by that kind of knowledge, because I want to actually pull Wendy's brain out and put it into a book, so then I know exactly who I need to talk to and what to do at various points. The second bit that I find really incredible about customer call centers and call centers for local government is the customer service. At the end of the day, your main goal is to provide quality customer service. And that is incredible because, as you know, people aren't nice all the time. You know, and to maintain a certain level of decorum, to maintain that level of professionalism, because ultimately, as you know, you represent the city. You are the first point of contact for the city. And, you know, that patience that you have to provide and that knowledge that you have to share takes a certain level of, I would say, specialness. And that's another thing that I think is really great. When I see, you know, despite, you know, some irate customers, despite customers who just might not understand you or, you know, might be very frustrated, you are able to provide just the highest degree of service to them. And I see that with my team. One of, maybe Wendy shared it with you, her goals is to meet every single city employee in the city. So all 3,000 plus city employees. And I'm always amazed by that goal because I feel like she already knows everyone. But, you know, that's still an amazing goal. And I know that at the bottom of that goal is really just customer service. And with that segue, actually, I would like to have the honor to introduce you the only local government chief customer service officer in the country, Rosetta Carrington from our fellow brother city, Philadelphia. Rosetta's just been a dynamite to talk to briefly, but she, as many of you know, she oversees Philly's 311 call center. But not only that, she actually leads the city's citywide customer service plan. So at the heart of her job is really to provide customer service training, customer service strategy, not only within 311, but throughout the city and internal operations. How can local government really provide the best service across the board? So that means that she's providing customer service to over 1.5 million residents, administrators, government staff workers on a day-to-day basis. She's originally from the Caribbean, but she's traveled all over the world, and she's chosen to stay in Philly to support customer service and to share that knowledge with us. So without further ado, let's welcome Rosetta.
We're the first administration to come through and really serve our citizens in the digital age. What we're doing is trying to redefine and reimagine the relationship with our citizens.
We really look at our constituents, businesses and visitors, really as our customers.
It's about helping us make Philadelphia a better, greater city for all of us.
We have to be available when our customers are available. So we've had to change in regards to the channels that we provide to our customers, and Service Cloud helps us do that.
It's not just government being responsive and acting like a call center, but actually creating that internet of citizens that we're talking about, where that connectivity is really in the cloud and all around us. And that's where I think we're headed.
What we found in the city of Philadelphia is that everyone had access to a smartphone. So out of that came this fantastic mobile app.
Having the 311 app in your pocket, wherever you go, is really a marvelous tool. And with that app, you can report almost anything going on in the city that you find, whether it be a pothole, an abandoned vehicle, graffiti. Once people start to see change and it really starts to take hold, then they start to really step up and take responsibility for that neighborhood.
You want to be able to submit something that you see.
Graffiti is a large problem in Philadelphia. There's a lot of vacant lots in North Philadelphia.
The fence is broken at the playground.
The app allows you to report it.
Walk through, snap a picture of that.
Click, the picture is worth 1,000 words.
You get the geo-positioning of the incident.
It's so easy.
You can actually follow the progress of the call as it goes through the different departments. You can see when they sent the crew out. You can see when the problem was solved, and then you're satisfied.
I've seen great things. I've seen the playground turn into this magnificent place. We're helping the community and all communities become safer across the city. And as a mother, what more could I ask for?
I think that's where it starts, is really having it be in your DNA, that you care about your neighbors, that you care about real community and what that means. We are here with Salesforce because we believe that Salesforce shares the same DNA.
There are ways in which we can collaborate that really makes a fundamental difference in the way people view the city.
And with Salesforce, we have the tools to do that. We're building trust that was never there before. We're using our call centers, our community engagement. We hear the feedback, we work together, and we actually show outcomes and results.
The sky is the limit, and the potential is way beyond anything that you and I could imagine sitting here today.
Today's a new day.
Hear me in the back? Yes. All right. So that's a video that we recently produced because we went through a transition to getting a new CRM online. But we're taking out, we love the video, and we're going to take our references to Salesforce in that video. So when Wendy called me to come and speak before the group, there wasn't really any hesitation. I haven't met Wendy personally, but I've heard so much about her, and I love her enthusiasm, especially overseeing this type of organization and the event that's happening around 311. I want to say welcome from the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. I know you're the city of champions, but we have our own motto. So I'm really happy to be here. One of the things that we're going to talk about is going back to what Debra was stating about some of the things that 301 does. We're all in the same business, right? We all are trying to please our customers. That's what we're here for. Philly 301 has been around for 6 years now, and if I tell you the story of where we were to where we are now, you will be very surprised with that transition. So we're going to talk and center around how we innovated the customer experience. Customer experience is very different from customer service. Does somebody want to explain to me, what's the definition of a customer experience? No, it's after lunch. Okay.
The interaction that you have and the relationship that you build because of the interaction that you have.
Correct. And what's customer service?
Finishing the task, whatever the task is?
So we migrated from just concentrating on the exception, which is a service you receive when you want information or there's a question. That's the service side, right? That's the training. That's the how do you deal with people. We migrated towards we want that experience, regardless as to whether or not you use you require a person to talk to or to sit down with. We want that experience to be great that you'll tell other friends. You'll talk about the change in government. So when we talk about Philly innovates and becoming a welcoming city, that's what we're talking about. You know, how many of you go to Thanksgiving dinner sometimes and there's some families that you're like not very welcoming versus some that, you know, you can't wait to go back every year. Do you see the difference between the two? The ones who you're forced to attend their event. They either want you to bring something, you know, it's never good enough. It's arguments. It's the whole 9 yards you could think of. And some of us in government are that way. We put all the heavy lift on our customers. You didn't fill out this form right. Go back in line again. I mean, and I see that, and I just sit there in awe. You know, that this person came all the way downtown, gonna get a parking ticket by the time they're done with us, just because they didn't bring the right form or you need to go to this other line, okay? That's not very welcoming, versus going to the other side now, which is a welcoming family. You know, you go to their house, you just love it. You don't need to bring anything, and it's okay. You know, they know what you like to eat. So they know your preference. They know what you like to drink. They know what events that you like to see on TV. They ask you a question and make you feel part of their family. That's a welcoming family. Okay? That's what we want to be, is a welcoming city. And a city that's connected to its customers. When we talk about connection, is knowing the preference and the choices that you have when you want to do business with the city, whether it's by phone, which is a traditional way in contact centers, doing it by phone, you're on our time, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, you know, check us back out on Monday. Or begin to transgress, I should say, into the other options, which is smartphones, email, web self-service. That's where the connectivity comes in. And so we have over time been able to marry the two, but we still have a long way to go. So I just went through what it does mean to build a connected city. When we first started off in 311, I got recruited under the guise that in 6 months we will have this nice operation, all these new people, all this consolidated contact center, no problem, well-trained folks. People will just love us because now we're down to just one single number for them to call. It's like that was easy for me because I've been doing the science of call centers for so long. That's been throughout my career. I love what I do, and I love that profession. So that was like, okay, that's a no-brainer. Then I get there, and it's a bait and switch, right? Now you have a laid-out plan, which we talked about. Everybody has this nice project plan and what you're going to do. So we were supposed to have 301 up in like 18 months. All of the departments, city, 40, 50 different call centers that are going to be under one umbrella. We have a new CRM system, you know, great employees, 24 hours. Well, 3 months into it, I think it may have lasted that long, 3 or 4 months into it, then the recession hit. Okay, what we ended up with was, first of all, we almost didn't even get to go live because the actual administration didn't think that we had gotten that far because we're a typical government, right? Yes, you're supposed to have it done by December. They're like, we're going to come down there and see, and there'll be nothing there. But they actually went down there, and they saw that there was a whole structure in place, and people were there. So they were shocked to begin with. So we weren't going anywhere. But on top of that, we couldn't hire anybody. So all this newfangled, you know, systems and employees who are well-trained, a good fit for the job, that went out the window. So I ended up with 95% were laid off. So Friday, they were librarian clerks. Some were janitors. Some were, God only knows. So Friday you were being told you were laid off. Monday you're going to the call center. and we're going to open in 2 weeks. So this was the mayor's major initiative. So I should have took a hint at that time, but I chose to stay. And what we found is over time, it's either fight or you fly, right? You flee, right? What we did was really just concentrated on why we were here. And every obstacle that you could put in front of us, including employees that were I had employees, we're friends. I had employees that were frying chicken in the call center and cooking meat. And they saw nothing wrong with that. Actually saw nothing. So we had behaviors that it was, a double take. So we had, and I'm serious. I mean, it was the going joke. Like, I want me a plate when you go over to 311. This is my order. I want a biscuit, some chicken, So we had that, and plus we had employees that, again, customer service is not meant for everyone. And even though you had the label of being a customer service staff person within the city, that wasn't your job. It takes a certain kind of people to do what we do. Okay, so we had people, the customer was mad, they were mad too. So it was tit for tat. Sometimes we just had to hang up the phone on the person because there was cursing out going on over on one side and ma'am, and so we're running around. That was the life for us for the first 6 months, just trying to get us to move forward. But there was an investment that was made in the organization by the mayor. And we just had to see the light in order to get that done. So we concentrated on our core values because we had to serve 1.5 million customers, residents. We had businesses and we had visitors that were contacting this one number, which is 311 for non-emergencies, 911 for everything else. We had to begin to focus on why we were there and begin to change a culture. Now, to change a culture, as you know, takes about almost 18 months to 2 years. So this is not something that's easy that you do. It's just constantly remaining focused from the leadership to the folks on the front line. Rosetta can say certain things, but really it comes from those people that they work with are the true leaders in the organization. So we maintain focus. We maintain performance expectations. We were one of the few organizations that actually did performance appraisals, and when we first did it, the union, I don't think they realized, I was serious, but maybe they didn't think I was serious. I was like, I have a job to do. I don't know any better. Now I think about it, there's probably a reason why they recruited me outside of Philadelphia, because I was like a lamb to the slaughter, I didn't know any better. I just kept on going. I'm doing performance appraisals. This is how we're going to do it. They're like, okay, business attire is needed. Forget the flip-flops, the short shorts. I was like jeans, the whole 9 yards, except on exception day. I'm acting as if this is a private, sector organization here. And that's why I guess they were just like, sure, and then signing off and everything. But I was serious. I was very serious in what we were doing. And so we're one of the few organizations within the city who actually does annual reviews. And that's highlighted every year by the folks in human resources, which to me says something totally different about the organization. But I don't think it's fair to hold people accountable for something that they do not know. If I don't know how you're judging me and my performance, you're impacting my career. The least that you can do for me as a supervisor is at least advise me and give me the opportunity to make a change. And that's the environment that we are in. It's not meant I'm going to catch you when you're doing something wrong. This is a learning environment. And those are the types of supervisors that we need, the frontline folks. Catch me when I'm doing things right, but constantly talk to me about my performance. Reinforce it when I'm doing well. Know what my dreams are. How many people can sit here and say their supervisor know what they want to do? What is your dream job? We just assume everybody wants to go up through the chain. We just assume everybody just wants to be a contact center agent or a manager. That's not the case. So we had to begin to change that environment so the employees felt that they were part of something successful. So even though we were having higher turnover, And that's normal in a contact center because everybody wants the employees that has all the knowledge about cities, right? What the city is doing. What we wanted to do was to cultivate, your purpose and why you were here and help you make sure you get your core performance down, but there's opportunities. So when we're talking about social media and who does their social media, we have people who are jumping to do social media and do it well, because it's great for them because it's something that they can add to their resume, and we are not threatened by that. Oftentimes we don't want to promote people or put people in certain positions or opportunities because we're threatened they're going to leave. So what if they leave? I'm gonna miss you, but that's what we do is we develop folks. You want to be known as in 301, this is where you get the great employees. We have to change that model that, everybody's leaving 301 because they don't like it. Or everybody stays in 301 because it's easy. You want it to be, when you're talking about how you connect to people, how do you become an organization of choice, is you have to look at your employees and understand those are adults, those are people that you're dealing with. They're not just a number. Yeah, and sometimes we don't do that well. So that's part of the connectivity and the drive for us to change within the organization. So why do we treat citizens as customers? This comes up a lot when I say we're, a customer relationship management system. We have 1.5 million residents, and customers are a part of that. We do have residents, and residents are those who reports a lot of the issues within the contact center, but we do have a lot of visitors. We have people who are driving by and want to report a pothole. Those are customers. Customers, as defined in Webster's dictionary, is anybody who receives a service or product. Okay, that's a customer. You're doing something for them. So that's the umbrella that we fall under. So a lot of the things and the trend that you're seeing in 311 is moving away from just citizens, because we handle more than just citizens. I'm sure when you were talking about all the service requests that are coming in, I'm sure they're not all residents. Right. Though they're customers, they're our customers. And so that's what you hear a lot when we talk about the customer experience. We're talking about the general body. But yes, we do know that there are segments in the market where we make sure that our residents are taught about 301. We build a trust with the residents, the citizens, and so forth. But we use a big umbrella of customers. Okay, so how do we interact with our customers? Like many of you, we started off with the traditional call center. The traditional call center is really the brick and mortar. Okay, you just have a location for agents to receive calls, and we had a walk-in center. So, and that's really in some areas, in some locations throughout the country, that's all you need to do, and that's fine. That's what your customers expect, and that's what your city wants to invest in, and that's okay. So just be the best traditional call center that you can be. For many of us, we begin to expand and say we want to broaden our services to our customers, especially today's customers that are very digital. And I am one of the worst customers you could ever have because, first of all, I hate to go into queue. I know it's part of the process, and I've been doing it for my whole life, but I hate it. I don't care if you have the best IVR in the world. I just hate that fact. So I'm one of those that'll first look to see if you have an app, look to see if you're online, look to see anything else besides having to call. Okay, you have a lot of people like that. You want to reach out to those folks. For our mobile application, we have in the city, we have a huge digital divide that is shrinking. But we have a number of, in an urban area, many of the people can't afford the internet service that is there. Okay, so for surveys, in accordance to Pew studies or what's going on in Philadelphia, between 20 to 38% of the folks do not have access to a computer inside their residence. Okay, but what do they all have? They all have smartphones. And that's how they operate. You go to the community meeting, everyone has a smartphone on their hip or in their bag or wherever. Okay, you have to see, well, hey, that's where we need to be, talking about connecting. We're on there on Twitter, we're on there, they're having online conversations, not at their residence. And I am one of those people who, I don't have TV at home. I do have internet access. You know, we can't make assumptions about everyone. Okay. We just look at what is the best way that we can connect based on the demographics that we have and based on the investments that we can put into these platforms. And that's how we continue our connection. Along with that, obviously, is the website, email, and regular. I don't think I've ever seen mail. I've seen this up here before, but how many of you still get mail?
And we get fax.
Okay.
Neighborhood associations will send
Okay.
us lists.
I think I have one stamp. And what I've done now is I bought that forever stamp, so I just make sure if the rate increase is somewhere along the line and see it, I have a forever stamp. It's good forever. But if we do get mail, that's all. We can designate where the information came from because data to us is very critical. Just some of the quick facts. It's hard to see this, but we've taken in the last 6 years, we've taken almost 7 million calls. We get about 1.5 million calls a year. We have a huge following. That number has probably increased on Twitter. When we talk about social media, move away from the term social media in your mind and start thinking about having an online conversation with your folks. It makes it more palatable. You know, I don't like that Twitter. I don't like Facebook. I don't like YouTube. I don't like Instagram. No, your customers are now that's where they're sitting next to each other and they're tweeting each other. Okay? They're having conversations online. So that's how we look at social media. So wherever they are, we want to be a part of that conversation. So service requests for us, it is reverse because many of the things we do, we don't need a service request on. 80% of our contact into the call center is about general information, where we do get demographical. The only thing we ask you is your zip code. And that kind of pinpoints where these questions are coming from. In case we go to a neighborhood, we can say based on the zip code, here are the things that you're asking about. The other 30% of what we do is service requests right now. That's where there's a quality of life issue that's happening in the city that you want to get reported. And then from there, we get out of that business and the activities are reported back from the department directly to the customer, either via the website that they can put in their reference number, or if they use their mobile application, that notification instantly comes up on their phone. So they can see all of the activities that are happening. For us, the key is transparency. We do not want to let people believe that we have more information than we actually have. Okay? And that was always, if you look at the old culture, that's how you kept power. Because I made sure I go to Wendy because Wendy knows everything. But guess what? I got about 70 Wendy's. So Wendy can actually go on vacation and not have to worry about stuff being piled up for her to return because nobody checked your voicemail box, or everybody's waiting for Wendy because we can't do anything till Wendy comes back, So now what we've done is even out the playing field. So transparency for us is key. That's where our knowledge base is key. So as we learn new things, we put them in the knowledge base. The agents are advised that we have a process that you put these new things into the knowledge base so that no one person is a go-to person for everything. Okay? So you see a lot of the stuff what we're doing is really becoming efficient through our walk-in center, website, the mobile app. And again, I'll continue to talk about the mobile app because that mobile app within the last 3 years has really become the #1 way that customers get in contact with us outside of a telephone call. And that's tremendous for us. So let's get into connectivity and innovation. Because if you're going to become a welcoming and engaged, connected organization and connected 311, you have to begin to look at your process to innovate them, and you have to use technology. So the great thing about Wendy, I won't keep using her, is the fact that her group falls under, this chief of innovation and performance. operations staff member over here, where they can at least have a dialogue and they can see, using data and feedback, where there's opportunities for technology to help streamline a lot of the processes. Because you want to move away, if you're going to become connected, you want to move away from all these manual processes that you have. All these forms can be automated. There's nothing really you cannot do with technology except you need to have the dollars for it. Okay, everything can be automated right now. So move away from how you solve problems in the past of filling out another form and the customer needs to do this. Begin to look at how can we better improve this process. So what we've done in order to improve the process is begin to engage our customers, meaning it's a two-way conversation. So we're no longer just telling you, and in traditional government, they tell you, here's what you're going to do in order for you to get something done. We can advise on policy, because that's the law. We have to follow the rules, but we also want that two-way communication and that two-way feedback. Because if we're going to improve and we're going to have raving customers, they need to feel like they're being heard. And many times, have you taken surveys over and over again? You're just like, I want another survey. Because you don't ever get the results back as to what changed with all the time that you took to answer those questions. That's one of the most irritating things that you can do to a customer, is survey them to death, because that's the way we get feedback. We need to send out another survey. But then you don't let the customers know, like, here, based off the information you gave us, here are some of the results and the changes that we've made. And that's what we have been doing within our operation in the city, is using a collaborative process to bring people in and say, okay, we're starting this new program or instituting this new technology. What do you think about it? And give you that feedback instantaneously or in a very short time. And what's that doing is really empowering customers to go, you know what, I could trust them. They begin to use your services more. They begin to tell others that try them. You know, you never know what can happen. So a question came up earlier today about going out into the community and what we do. And one of the things that I saw when I first started 6 years ago is I would go to these meetings. In fact, I went with, Maura Kennedy. She actually works here. Right. So it was me and Maura, who didn't know any better, because we were the new ones. We'd go out into these communities and we'd be like, we got 301. And she was over licenses and inspections, or working with them at the time. And so her job was to explain all of the issues while the customers lined up and had their tomatoes and were just like, see who's going to get hit first. So, see, I used to set her up where she didn't know any better. So I would bring all the good news, and then I'll be like, LMI, here's Maura. Because there's always issues, permits, inspections. Is like, the thing with that operation is that people don't see what's happening. So they just assume nothing is going on, right? Whereas with streets, they saw the garbage was there yesterday, they came back, it's gone. So you're not going to have the same type of frustration. So in those meetings, what I saw was a need for education and awareness about how these programs work. These were service requests that were coming into the 301 operations, abandoned buildings, abandoned vehicles, things of that nature. Why have an agent or a customer wait online for 15, 20 minutes, because now he has like 20 of these locations that he has to enter for his whole neighborhood, and you're sitting there just going one through one. We figured out a way, why don't we just make it such that they have access to our system, they have the service level agreements, they have access to the knowledge base, and guess what? You now can knock yourself out and exactly put things into the system and see how it works, because there is nothing to hide. So slowly we began these neighborhood liaison programs, and now we have almost 2,000 active and engaged liaisons that are out there. These people, what they do for us is not only take away from having to wait into the 301 operation to get a rep, they can now enter service requests online, or they're using their smartphone. And in fact, we have an elderly couple that they've put in at least 1,800 requests over the last year and a half. And what they do is they're retired, and every morning they're not just concerned about their property. They go and they walk the neighborhoods, and he points out all the issues. She takes a picture, and since it's geolocated, she can, it tells you, here is the location, is this correct? She just validates that or enter another location, and she moves on. The good thing about that is they can now go into the system and they get reports. So they don't have to contact us to say what's going on this account. They have the same information that we have because we've certified them with the training. There is nothing different that an agent can say that they don't know. Okay? And so that's why the program is very popular. And we continue to have these community heroes that maybe they're not formally assigned. I'm the president of blah, blah, blah association. You always have the nosy neighbor, who knows about everybody's property and who doesn't live here and what's happening here. And they come to these community meetings with these big binders, that they've been trying to get somebody to work on, for a long period of time. Now they have a service request number. So you don't need that big binder anymore, because we can tell when you entered the service request, and if it's overdue, we can help escalate the process. Okay, at least you have a number now, and that's what City Council loves the program, because they can say, what's your service request number? Okay, so when you go back to the department, it's not that, hey, we gave you this opportunity, you missed it. And that's a whole different conversation than constantly starting over, because Wendy is now on vacation, and Wendy was the one I was dealing with.
I like that.
Right. So it's that program, this is one of the things we talk about innovation, that really didn't cost us anything. That just cost us the time to go and train folks. We didn't need any new monies for that. But what we got in return was an army of community heroes that now understands the process of government and now can speak to their neighbors about how long things should take, and why things they think aren't done when they say they're done. They can research locations for these customers. So they're really an extension of our operation in the field, who are a group of volunteers and an army of volunteers. So we talked a little bit about the mobile app already. It's not just for the younger audience. Obviously, the person that put this graphic together is one of my younger folks. And they have a tendency to think mobile app is only for younger people. And their version of young is 29, 30. You're like an old ancient skeleton. By the time they get to you, you're old. No, this mobile app is, I'll just highlight some of the things about the mobile app. For us, the reason that we've won awards on this app is because, first of all, it's translatable into 17 different languages, which includes English. Okay, 21% of the population of Philadelphia, English is not their primary language, but they pay taxes, they reside in the city, they need city services. Can you imagine having, if you speak French, you enter it in your native language, you speak Korean, I think it's Korean, Spanish is obviously number one, then it's Mandarin, all the Asian language. They're like the next four highest volume of folks needing translation. Korean is in there. So I was amazed at that. And those things can be tracked. But they now have the ability, they communicate on their phone in their language. We get the information in English if we have to do something. It doesn't come to us the majority of the time, it just goes through a work order system. If there is a comment that they want to answer a question, we get that request in English, even though they wrote it in French or Spanish or whatever the 17 languages are. And that's how we can see things without having to know every single language that's out there. This mobile app also has the ability to, you can look, it's called widgets. You can add things to it in real time. So you can add after-school programs, or somebody came up with a hackathon and we put election polling information on there. I mean, it's very flexible for us to use. One of the best pieces of technology that I can say that we haven't had any crisis or it's down. It has been very stable for us, and that's why I think it continues to be very popular within the city. Obviously, we're on Facebook and Twitter. We talked about that. And we in regards to connection, how many of you actually use social media or go online when it comes to crisis management? Okay. Right. So what do the others do when there are weather issues out there. How do you communicate to your folks? Everybody just calls your, that's it? Okay. I would say one of the things that I would encourage you to do, even if you're not really, your risk tolerance for going on social media very timid right now, is to at least have an account, okay? What we did is we have a social media working group, so we make sure everybody understands what the policies are for the city. And they're very simple. I mean, don't do anything that you wouldn't want to see in the newspaper the next day. Okay. The people that we pick to go on social media is just not because you're young, you're the person. We pick people we have a success profile. They're credible, they're reputable, they're curious, and they can write. Okay, so they're not using the short text, call you back, LOL, LMO, LLM, AO, all this stuff. The customers will read you online, okay? So you learn how to, what we always say is really anything positive, you put out there things that are positive. If you don't want to really begin to push things out, you don't have to accept service requests online. We didn't when we first started. So what we did when we first started was just listen. We just followed folks, just followed people who were in our industry and just listened. That's what you call is listening. Then we started putting things out, meaning the call center was inundated with the same type of calls today. We started pushing those out, those FAQs. Is school open? Yes, school is open. Because what we're finding is a lot of people are more online, including seniors, including the fact that people outside of Pittsburgh are looking at your Twitter feed because they want to know what's happening. If something major happens, it's not just impacting the residents themselves. It's impacting their family or others who are outside the city. So during crisis is when we find media is watching us. We repeat the same information that's given to us from the press office. We're there anytime there's a crisis. We're essential personnel, so we have to be on site 24 hours. And that's why we're constantly just updating those feeds. And that works really well for us because A, it's consistency of information across the city. And also two, folks can, instead of calling us, and we have like 15, at one point we had like 10, I thought I saw like a 2,500 or some ridiculous number in queue. Many of those are for the same question, is school gonna be open today? So we put it on our IVR, so you don't have to wait for an agent. We use social media to get the same information out. So it's more consistency across the board. When you're thinking of social media, think of it as just another channel that people are using to get information versus contacting you, which is more the expensive process. Okay. One of the things that really drives, let's see, I want to go over. How much time do I have, Wendy? Okay, good. Because I really wanted to do something a little bit different and go off script. One of the things that drives us in public service is really our purpose to serve. Okay. And this oath, many of you know, have you heard of the Athenian oath of city and state? Anybody? Okay, so this is back in ancient Greece. In order for you to become a citizen of Athens, you had to serve a year in public service, right? Because you couldn't just be a citizen. And one of the things that you had to pledge was the oath of city and state. This is what you're going to do as a public servant. And the oath, you can go online. Didn't see it in, the 300? Didn't see that part, but you could see the vigorousness and the passion that was there with those folks. With the Athenian oath, this really goes to why we're here. And when you look at the oath itself, there's one section of that oath that talks to us and talks to me and my folks and really the mayor and his team as to why we continue to do what we do. Even though we get the customers that's not calling to say, hey, you guys got a great, awesome job. You did a beautiful, you did something really great today. You're either going to get people who don't really care or just want to report something, right? The oath of the Athenians really says, and put it on the board, and just remind yourself all the time when you're getting down, you're not getting technology fast enough, I'm not getting personnel, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. You are changing lives every day. what you do, regardless as to whether you have employees or you don't have employees. That's why we're in public service. It's called service. Okay. We have this on the board, and I look at that, and I always remember the oath that says, we will transmit the city. Okay, so we're going to transmit Philadelphia or wherever you are. We're going to transmit the city not only, not less than, but greater and more beautiful than it was transmitted to us. Okay? So when you go to work, whether you're a frontline person or in leadership, you have to, what is your legacy? Is it, I came in and the call center was operating and it's right here and that's where it's going to stay because I don't want to be under, in the spotlight because somebody's going to notice me? Or you're going to maybe step out a little bit and begin to try new things and begin to when you leave and you go into another position, when you left that job, what legacy did you leave? Did you just leave it, you left it as is? Or did you try to do anything that was innovative or something that can change one person's life? And when we're in 311, we get data, we get information. When we go out into the field, a lot of the times we are the ones who are speaking for the voiceless. They don't trust government. We have let them down so many times, and we continue to. Because we say we're going to do certain things, and we don't. And many times I'll go down and, in different organizations, I'll just see the way that we don't look at people as human beings sometimes. You don't look at the fact that that person just left their job or they came down and they've been trying to work with us. The fact that we have 15 different forms and every time the rule changes, something new, it's like, you didn't tell me that yesterday. I see the way that we tend to treat people sometimes, and it's really unfair to these folks who are trying to do the right thing. Many of them have made an investment in the city. They bought a home. The home may be not in the best shape right now. The neighborhood may have graffiti in it, high crime, abandoned vehicles. The kids can't play in the playground because it's full of needles. It's full of people who are doing things and bad behaviors that you don't want to send your kid out there. But they can't go anywhere. They cannot. So if we do not begin to look at these people as not just another number or get off the phone, I have something else to do, these people are calling you because sometimes they have exhausted all other options. Okay? So the data that's coming in and that we get, use that data to begin to make change in your operations. Even again, many of you may not be in a position to say, well, I'm not the leader over the organization. That's Wendy. Wendy does it all. You on the front line, that's the first impression that they get of the city. I was a customer service agent. And I've gone through every single track. I have never changed career tracks. I've always been in the customer experience business. Okay, so I know I have the crink in the neck from doing this with the phone calls. All right, and if I heard one more request that was the same thing, I'll go crazy. But I learned working in the best organization that these people they're folks. They're like you and I. Sometimes they're just frustrated because they have tried to work with government and they can't get things done. And these operations were created to be the voice for the voiceless. When you use all that data that's coming in, you can now go to the streets department and say, hey, there's a lot of requests coming in for litter in this area. Before, it was subjective. I literally had somebody say, well, that's one person keeps calling. Our crews are fine. But you can't run away from data. And you just have to keep an open mind. We're not saying that you're doing something wrong. Maybe something's happening that you're not aware of. How can we change that to make these folks' life a little bit better? Because this is all they have. Okay? They can't just up and leave and go to another city. Like, I don't want to go shopping at Macy's, I'm going to go to Target. They don't have that option. They can't go someplace else and get their permit. They can't go someplace else and get a license. They can't go someplace else and get a pothole repair. Where are they going to go? So when we're talking about being connected, having people connect to us and that we understand them, we really need to walk the talk. We need to meet people where they are. If it's going online, I know you personally, you're afraid to go online, but that's where your folks are. That's where people are communicating. That's where they're getting their information. Start venturing and looking at different ways that you can get things done. And don't use budget as your excuse, because half of the things I just talked about didn't cost us anything extra. Okay. We are now taking that neighborhood liaison program. We've now gone into the schools and actually piloted 4 schools, trying to get to the youth between middle age and high school, trying to get to them earlier so they can understand how government works and how they can be the change that they want to see and where their parents are frustrated at government. If we can educate them, we can actually then maybe educate their parents for them to not get frustrated about living in a city that's so bad. Okay, and a lot of it is perception, but it's perception based on how we treat people. Right. So if nothing else today, if you can go back and just remember, whatever you're doing tomorrow, whatever your legacy is, that you will make one person's life just different today, you have actually done your job as a public servant. Okay? We can't please everyone, we understand that, but do not give up so easily. Okay? We are a team of people. We're in the 311 business. What we're trying to do is we're trying to promote local government and what we do in this field, because it's not done enough. And so before I end, I really want to hear from you guys. I'm actually going to do something just a little bit different for me. First of all, I'm going to ask you to tell me one thing that your operation, whether or not you're the leader, doesn't matter, but one thing your operation has done that's been an accomplishment for your organization. So I don't care if everybody showed up to work one day, and that's a miracle, okay? Because it would be a miracle for us. Just what accomplishment have you had? I'll say in this case, we have won numerous awards. Okay, and it's not about the awards, but what we're wanting to do is not really self-promote. You have to be real careful about people saying, you're self-promoting. It is not self-promoting if you're showing people you're making a difference, right? There are people who do self-promote because it's about them. And many of us, it's not about us, okay? If you want to self-promote, that's on you, and that's fine, but it's really about us. And to the fact that as of, I think it's this month, we are one of the finalists for the United Nations Public Service Award in Government, and that's through the effort. New York is the only other one that's won it. So we're actually a finalist, so we're going to be on stage. It's in Medellin, Colombia this year. So we're just waiting to find out if we're a winner. But this is a journey of 6 years. Okay, that we're being recognized for it. We have so much more to do. When I came into the city, I knew where we were. I saw the frustration those folks face, that they couldn't get things done. We now have a group of folks that, come to the last meeting. They're so happy. They at least recognize what we've done, and we're trying to help. Right? We have police officers now that has 301 in their vehicles. Okay. One of the first cities that can do that. They can actually research and find things for their customers. So we're doing a lot of different things. That doesn't mean we've just been continuous in what we're doing, but I want to hear from each one of you, like, what are some of the things that you're doing within your organization? Just one or two lines, nothing long, no explanation needed, just some of the accomplishments, whether you're a community engaged city, from PTI this year, just something, because it does help me. I just don't like coming and talking about Philly 301 constantly. It's nice, we've done a lot, but it's really a shared goal for all of us to be taking accolades, and we are making a difference across this country of collecting data about what our customers' needs and wants are. We are making that difference in, showing them that government, try us. We can deliver on at least one promise. We can tell you when the pothole will be repaired. We can track it down. We can do different things now. So I'm going to start with you, Dee.
Let me
knew she was going to do that. I knew that. So just when I pass this mic around, just real quick, I'm going to ask everybody to do it. You can't say, I don't know anything. You're working in the operation. You have to know at least one thing that you can say, I'm from, this city, and here is what we've done to improve the life, to transmit the city of wherever. And I just want to do it. So Dee, let's start with you.
I shouldn't go first. Well, we've done a lot of stuff in Charlotte, but I think the one thing that sticks out to me, and I think we actually won an award for this, is we bring in the summertime high school kids in, and we train them to take one call, but we make them adhere to the rules just like they're a regular employee. They have to dress right, go through the training. And it's just really been beneficial. And sometimes I see the kids out in the community after they're done, and they come up, oh, Miss Creighton, thank you for the opportunity. I'll be back next year. And their parents will even say, wow, thanks. So it's really been a great thing for the kids.
Good, great. All right, Marilyn.
Thank you. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. You all saw our mayor on a video previously about some of the open data things that we're doing, so we're really innovative in open data. But as far as our contact center and accomplishments, this is internal, but in 1 month we moved to a new location. We got a new an upgrade to a CRM. We got a new phone system, and we celebrated our 25th year as a contact center. And we just answered our 5 millionth call.
Oh, good for you. We love you, Wendy.
My name is Melinda. We're with Durham, North Carolina. We've done a couple things. We spearheaded a customer service professionals conference for all the people in the city employees that perform customer service functions. So as the contact center, we spearheaded that. We did that last year in 2014, and we're going to do it again this year during National Customer Service Week.
Wow. Remember these people, if you have ideas, if you want to copy this.
Hi, I'm Mona Moore from Durham, North Carolina, and we hire summer youth, and we still have her. She's now with us Monday, 3 days out of the week. She went to school, and then she comes back to work for us.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's a great ambassador.
Hi, I'm Rebecca with Minneapolis 311. And I guess one thing that went live this year was citywide an open data portal, and 311 has been a major contributor of data to that open data portal. We have a long way to go as a city as far as that goes, but yeah, I think that we're kind of on the leading edge of that. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Deb Hudson from Minneapolis 311. So many things. We've been live for almost 9 years now, and one of the things I can attest to is I'm hearing so many positive things, and it's encouraging to know that we are still on trend with what's going on, and I'm very, very excited about that.
Hi, I'm Lisa Good, and I'm also with Minneapolis 311. 6 years ago, I started on our virtual agent program. We were the first 311 call center, I believe, in the United States to have at-home agents. And I was involved in that project from the beginning to the end, 1.5 years worth of work. And it's been wonderful for us. So if anybody's interested in that, come and talk to us about development and the problems that we dealt with. But we're very proud of that program.
Hi, my name is Natasha. I'm from the Hampton 311, and the accomplishment that we have experienced internally, I've been with our 311 for less than a year, but our director established a New Day, New Way, where we are trying to take our services, including technology and things of that nature, to the next level, and also in line with our company culture. So I believe that's an accomplishment.
Okay, great.
Hello, I'm Tiffany, and I'm also with 311 out of Hampton, Virginia, and she kind of stole mine. It branches off of our new customer service initiative, which again is New Way, New Day. And one of the things that we've been successful in with that is recently we've been able to get new business from our city department partners. So a lot of times when we have like neighborhood events, they're starting to use 311 staff for registration, and then that also helps us at the same time because we're able to get the word out to more people about 311 that may not have necessarily known about it before.
Nick Scheider, Denver 311. One of the big things that Denver did this year is over half of our staff, which is about 32 folks, are either a green or black belt in Denver Peak Academy, and this is an incredible program. We're innovating in Denver. Denver's a big innovation city. The city has saved millions and millions of dollars, and this is all based on ideas that come from our Peak graduates. So if you are interested in the program, I would definitely go to denvergov.org and check it out. It's Denver Peak Academy, but we're recognized across the country for this. But half of my staff have been through the program, and I'm very excited about that.
Hello, I'm Kendra Carter with Lexington, Kentucky, and one of the things is in our outreach program, we have an organization in Lexington called Habitat for Humanity, where they build the homes for. Well, 311 is now part of their criteria, the classes that families have to take, so it's a great way to get our name out there and educate the public.
Hi, I'm Pat from Lexington, Kentucky, Lex Call 311. One thing I'm most excited for, we just broke ground to be part of the Public Safety Operations Center. So it's going to be 311, 911, and emergency management, and I'm missing one. Us, 311, okay. Also, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about the mobile app. We've had a mobile app now almost 8 years. We just got it updated. I'm very proud of that.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tiffany with the City of Fayetteville, North Carolina. We've have a lot of success recently with our new software technologies, but something that's unique to our city, I think, is we've recently actually moved locations. So now that our call center shares a space with our utilities call center, and we have a service level agreement where the two separate organizations will support each other. So we're also sharing technology and things like that, and so far it's been very, very successful to both organizations. So.
My name is Tiasha Johnson, and I'm from Columbus, Georgia. I recently took over the call center about the end of February, so I'm still learning about things or ideas I need to change or implement. But one of the things that stood out to me is pretty much internally a lot of cross-training that I'm doing because in the past, a lot of people couldn't take vacation because only one person knew a task, but now that's going to change. And another thing that stuck out with me was as far as the online system is about entering requests and following up with citizens. That's our main focus.
People can go on vacation now.
I'm Ronnie Sue Johnson. I'm with the Washington State Department of Social and Health Services, and ours is a statewide contact center. And we also have a home teleworking program, which I'm going to speak about tomorrow. But one of the things that what we do is public assistance. And so one of the things I'm proud of is that my contact center staff, a small group of them, helped transition clients that used to receive Medicaid and services with us to under the Affordable Care Act to the exchange. And that may not seem like a big thing, but this is a pretty vulnerable population who don't self-manage, self-service very well. And the Affordable Care Act exchange infrastructure is all about self-service. And so we had a call-out project to help folks who had not made that shift but needed to soon or lose their medical. We were doing call-outs, reminders, what can we do to help you get them over and transitioned, and all of the clients on the list that we received got transitioned.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brett Fitcher. I'm also State of Washington Department of Social and Health Services. And we just recently implemented a workforce optimization software solution so that now we're forecasting, scheduling, have centralized performance management and speech analytics for our 1,800 agents who are in our storefronts, in our back office, and in our call center operations.
Hi. I'm Ann Fogaris, and I'm with the 211 Center here in Pittsburgh. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and learn about government call centers. So learned a lot already today, and I see a lot of similarities. One thing that I'm proudest about for our call center, which serves 11 counties in Pennsylvania, is the work we've recently done with our tax season. During tax season, the 211 centers and United Ways work very hard to make sure people who meet income guidelines can have their taxes done for free. So that service was offered to every person who called into 211. Not only that, we made sure they were aware of the Affordable Care Act insurance program eligibility guidelines, so that if they were connected to one program, we tried to make sure they were connected to another program, because one of our core values is that people have lots of different needs, and just because they don't know to ask for a program, they shouldn't know to ask, we should offer.
Hi, DJ Russell from Hampton, Virginia. And we've had two things that I think went really well this year. We've been trying to implement some sort of telework program, in particular during bad weather, so our staff didn't have to drive in but could take calls from home during snowstorms, assuming they have power. And so we did that this year, and it went really well. And so our staff could stay home and take calls in their pajamas, and but still be very professional. And then the other thing that we did was that we partnered with Habitat for Humanity as well as city government to register people for a program where they go out and do repairs in certain neighborhoods. So that was a big deal for us to partner with another organization.
Hello, I'm Beth Krauts from Oklahoma City, and I guess a couple things that I'm most proud of. I have a staff of 3 others beside myself, so we're a very small contact center, but we celebrate 40 years in the business next year. But I started going before police recruits and training them on the Action Center. We're a 7-digit number. We're not 311 yet. So because they have all the technology in their cars. And so they used to send us what they called actiongrams with things that they saw out when they were driving around, and now they put them through our online system so that it doesn't have to be re-entered by the contact center staff. So that's good. And also we do for the citizens, it's the #1 thing that they request from the city every year, but we do a Code Enforcement Government 101 seminar for them. And part of that is 3 20-minute, we call it speed dating, but it's 3 20-minute roundtable discussions, and we have all the different city departments that handle code enforcement issues and whatnot. So they can talk to animal welfare, they can talk to solid waste, they can talk to all these different divisions, code enforcement divisions, and actually learn from them. They bring pictures. You were talking about the big binders and stuff. So they can learn a lot that way, and so we implemented that a few years back, and it's been a real successful program. So.
Hi, I'm Denise Nichols. I'm from the city of Columbia in Missouri. We have a small contact center with 3 CSRs. So we just had our first year anniversary in April. One of the things that I'm really proud of is that our frontline CSRs, as all of us, feel a part of the team because you're allowed to comment on all the scripting that they use. So any suggestions, they're able to email out, let management know that this is a problem, we need more information on this. It makes everyone feel more of a team when you're able to input on things that you need. That open management policy as to going for any need, no matter what the tool or the scripting, really keeps everybody feeling like one team.
My name is Carlin Self. I work for InContact. I'm a vendor. Our technology is used by the majority of United Way 211s across the U.S. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is that when there is an emergency like a wildfire, we're able to bump up the number of agents so that constituents can join in and help them take calls.
My name is Rosalia Johnson from Raleigh, North Carolina with the Department of Insurance.
I am proud of our Seniors Health Insurance Information Program division. We counsel seniors across the state on their Medicare benefits, Medicaid, as well as their state retiree benefits. And open enrollment runs from October 15th through December the 7th. And during that time, we counsel thousands and thousands of people, help them switch their plans for the new year, just sort out all their benefits, and it really does help seniors a lot. So we get a lot of feedback from that, so we're definitely proud of that program.
Hi, I'm Bree Bailey, also with the North Carolina Department of Insurance in Raleigh, North Carolina. Rosalie and I work together. What I'm most proud about is that our Deputy Commissioner has created a committee called a Blue Ribbon Panel, where they select about 2 or 3 people from each division of the Department of Insurance for just information. And the thing that I'm proud about that came from that committee is the new training program that was implemented.
Good afternoon. I'm Monica Chihovlis with Jacksonville, Florida. There are many things I'm proud of, but the thing that I'm most proud of is making a difference in people's lives. I have a team member that was a single mom, didn't graduate high school dropout. She is now her own business owner because we worked with her and found out really what was her purpose in life and allowed her to achieve it. So that's what I'm most proud of.
I'm Carol Rhodes with Columbia, Missouri, and my colleague Denise Nichols stole my most proudest accomplishment, and that is we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary on April 7th of 2014. And I guess I'm also most proud of Denise because she has been instrumental in the development of the contact center. She has been by my side since its inception. So thank you, Denise. And thank you to a lot of you in the room whom were so gracious in sharing your policies and procedures with us so that we could get our feet off the ground. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Sue Panarelli from Evanston, Illinois. Probably don't need this mic, but a couple of things I'm really proud of. We are both we received the PTI Tech Savvy Award and the PTI Citizen Engaged Community Award. And probably the most proud is that we implemented our call center in 10 months, and we are going on our 4th successful year. So.
We have this side of the room, and then we have a presentation right after.
I am Debra Chapman from the state of Indiana, workforce development, unemployment. And one of the things that we've implemented recently is Sunday hours, which is outside of the box of state government. But we found that a lot of our claimants file their vouchers on Sunday to be paid on Monday. And if they had problems on Sunday, they would have to wait until Monday and not get paid. So we a director implemented the Sunday hours, which made a big difference for claimants to be paid on Monday.
Hi, I'm Andrea Adams, Department of Workforce Development, Unemployment. I'm most proud of my supervisors because that report to me, because the past year they have worked very hard to partner with each individual CSR in our call center to help them to reach their desires and develop them professionally or anything that's going on in their personal lives. So I'm very proud of each and every one of them and what they've done to help and step up and help. And, you know, it's really made a difference with our attrition. So.
Hello, my name is Noah Shelton. Public speaking is my biggest fear, so bear with me. One thing that I'm proud of is in our agency, I'm from Indiana BMV. In the past year, in July of 2014, we implemented web chat so that our customers can interact with us in a new channel, and those interactions we handle in under a minute, so it's going well so far.
Hi, I'm Susie from the BMV in Indiana, and I'm pretty proud that we took over 2 million calls last year, and our average talk time is under 3 minutes.
Greetings, everyone. I am Janet Nelson. I am a retiree of Charlotte 311. I retired in 2010, but let me tell you, the customer service goes on. I have taken what I learned there and I'm still using it. I train and develop and reward. I still do all of those things. And I'm proud to announce that I recently looked and found a telephone system that we could use in our church, and trained and developed everybody who had to use that on those phones, and it's working properly.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Malone with the City of Memphis 311 Call Center. My most proud moment at this point is we just created a leadership training class for our bilingual speakers of City of Memphis, and we did it from February, March, and April, and they're actually going to be graduating tomorrow. They had to attend at least 3 classes, well, at least 2 of the 3 classes to graduate, and our bilingual speaker in our call center led the training class, and it was a really big reach. If you all know that some bilingual speakers do not trust the police and they don't trust city government. So we had our first participation. There was 35 neighborhood associations in the multicultural areas of the city. So that was a big accomplishment for us. And also we have our new 311 ad tracker that will be implemented next month, where the citizens are able to go online and track requests that are on the that is called in or on the online, and you will be able to see what's going on in your neighborhood, if it's your potholes, if it's weed complaints. So you'll be able to look at and see what's going on and see what information is given and how it's going to be fixed, when it's going to be fixed, and things like that. So I'm really proud that we worked on that for about 6 months.
I'm Dan Wietrick with Sarasota County, and my biggest accomplishment is we noticed our permitting department and inspection department was experiencing about a 2-hour average speed of answer. And in Sarasota County, we have tremendous growth, and we want people to move to Sarasota, and we were giving them the wrong impression. And so my counselors stepped up, and then within 2 weeks, we started taking all of their calls. So, and my other next best thing that I've done all year is I hired this guy.
I'd like to return that favor, but no. So I'm Chuck. We have a great staff in Sarasota. Super proud of just the overall staff. A lot of the speakers today said, customer service is definitely something you can't teach. You either have it or you don't. All we do is coach to make it better. The biggest accomplishment I've seen is I'm big on going out to find out the answer why. I ask why a lot. But overall, no matter what department I walk into, everyone is receptive and wants us to help. I think what we all do is important, and we just need to go out and find out why and what else can we do for you. So I'm just proud of everyone in the entire county.
Hello, my name is Kevin Boozle. I'm from right here in Allegheny also. I work for 211, and we're working closely with 311. But I'm probably most proud of being able to work in 11 counties and build relationships with each of those counties. From the county commissioners to the 911 centers, we have really close relationships with them as far as activations and support in each of those counties. In addition, we have the VOADs, Volunteer Organizations Active in Disaster. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but in our area, they're pretty popular and help a lot in disasters. So the 211 system has partnered. We've been really actively pursuing partnerships and working within the community, filling the gaps where they need us, not coming in and doing what we think we need to do. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I probably don't need this. I'm always accused of being too loud. But, we just implemented a mobile app in Virginia Beach in January. And one of our concerns was making sure or hoping that the citizens would be able, number one, acknowledge that it exists, and number two, use it. Well, it just so happened this past winter was probably the worst winter that Virginia Beach has experienced in 20 or 30 years. So once the snow melted, we had potholes all over the city. So if anything, the application is more popular than we want it to be, because Now we're kind of overloaded, we're kind of backloaded with orders, but the good news is that the citizens are using it. We were able to implement it effectively, and now we just hope they slow down on the usage.
I'm Wendy Woods with Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm under Bob's wing. One of the things that we've done is to step out is to become more technology friendly. We assist with reverse 911 notifications or emergency notifications, whether it's a rabid animal or road closure, boiled water. Well, we used to do those only to landlines. Now we have the ability to have citizens sign up to have their cell phone numbers notified in the event that there's emergencies. So we are taking baby steps, but we're getting there.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Sabin, and I am a customer service liaison for the city of South Bend, Indiana. You saw our mayor, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, on the video talking about the open data. I am very proud that we partnered with the community investment department in our city to help screen people for the South Bend Home Improvement Program, which a lot of people that can't afford to fix or repair large type of repairs on their homes that would cause a safety concern could get assistance with that through us helping to screen them for eligibility for that program. And our mayor has been very proactive in fighting blight. I heard that earlier, but he has 1,000 Houses in 1,000 Days initiative. And I think that just being able to take calls and to help with residents being able to get assistance to repair their homes can eliminate adding to those 1,000 houses. And we do also have 2 bilingual liaisons that are an awesome asset to 311 in South Bend. So we have a large Spanish population. And I will let my director give you the stats.
My name is Cynthia Simmons, and I'm very happy to be here from the great city of South Bend, Indiana. We went live just about 2 years ago, and in that time period, we've taken over 500,000 calls, which is a lot for us because we were only given 6 weeks before we went live. And I got my staff 6 weeks before we went live, and the IT director, after about 6 months, looked at me and said, I didn't believe that you guys could pull this off, but with the help of the good Lord and being allowed to kind of handpick my crew and not be threatened by their potential and their knowledge and letting them fit and flourish and function in what they do, knowing them as people and trying to help them with their career path, I'm very proud of that.
My name is Janice Biggs, and I'm from St. Louis County, Missouri, which is not St. Louis City, it's St. Louis County, but we are home to the much maligned and probably now famous Ferguson, Missouri. So the one thing I'm probably proud of this past year is that my staff of 5 showed up for work every single day, even though our buildings were under lockdown. We had National Guard roaming the halls. We were surrounded on the streets by protesters throwing rocks and everything you can possibly imagine. And it still happens. Like last Friday, they're marching down the street again. And the credit of my staff for getting yelled at and hollered at and screamed at, and we can't wear our badges out on the street anymore, and it's just ugly, but they came to work every single day. And kudos to our leaders who now, finally, we're in the assessment phase for being more open and responsive to the citizens. It's unfortunate it took something like that, but I think the reaction has been good.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Phillips. I'm with the City of Elgin, and we are about 40 miles west of Chicago, Illinois, just to kind of give you a little bit of geography as where we're located. I say that we're still in the infant stages of having a 311 contact center, 2.5 years with just about a good solid year under our belts with everything status quo. But I think we've done we've got Salesforce, we've got apps, we've got, the knowledge base. But I think, again, and time again, what right out of the box this morning we learned is the most important thing, and the thing that I'm the most proud of is our team. We don't call our employees customer service representatives, they're advocates. And they advocate for the city of Elgin, and which has allowed us great partnerships with all the internal departments. We have a great partnership with the police department and the fire department and the public works department. And I think that it's essential in organizations like ourselves to knock down those silos and become one, which is our initiative for the remainder of this year, to have a one Elgin approach to everything. So everything is going to be on the same system, and we're going to work collaboratively as one, as rather than separate entities. So that's what I'm most proud of.
My name is Jenny Gogol, and I'm from the city of Toledo. I manage the Department of Public Utilities call center, and Jenny and I have been talking all day. We have a lot of similar interests in our theories and everything, and I know there's a common theme throughout this office or this room today, but my accomplishment and what I'm proud of is in the city of Toledo, we, in about 2013, had an average speed of answer of 36 minutes on an annual basis, and I know that's not good. And investing in our employees, investing in our customers, making that connection with the external customer, but also the internal customer, recognizing them, motivating them, incentivizing them, giving them the tools in the toolbox to make them be successful, finding out what they want, what they need, empowering them, afforded us the opportunity in 2014 to now have a 2-minute and 8-second average speed of answer. So I mean, it was huge to invest and make that connection and empower the employees. It's just been remarkable, the amazing turnaround in our office. Now we're cross-training. Now we're embracing, again, working in silos. We're identifying where those silos are, figuring out what we need to do to put the customer first. And one of the things I challenge the staff every day is, you could speak to a customer on the phone, and it could be the 80th time you've said that one piece of information, but for that customer, that's the first time. Always treat them like they're your mother, they're your father. Put them first and treat them the way you'd want to be treated. So, thank you.
I'm Dave Shirley, and I'm the ICT Director, Information Technology Communications for the City of Toledo. Like Rosetta, I just entered the public employment a year ago, and now I'm trying to figure out why. One of the biggest accomplishments, just one of the things to remind you is the City of Toledo did have a little incident back in August. Nobody could drink our water, not a big deal. Only 500,000 people got affected. But actually the lesson we learned there is something you guys should really think about, because we learned a big lesson. We weren't ready for a disaster. I mean, they had politicians running around, everybody's doing all kinds of stuff, but I digress because I'm an IT guy. My job is to make sure all the systems you guys use work. So I like to remind everybody, we're like the sewer divisions to the city. You don't really see us until it overflows, and then all of a sudden we get the calls. But the complexity of keeping the different systems that you guys use is one, it's a huge job. Two, the security of the whole open cloud and everything else has brought a whole new world to us. So don't forget the guys on the bottom there. Thank them every once in a while, because I know the phones don't work sometimes, but they work most of the time. So thank you.
I don't know where we'd be without our IT guys. My name is Liz. I am the call center manager for 311 in the city of Chattanooga. We have had a number of accomplishments. We have taken on sewer billing. It was not a choice that we had. The water company decided to stop billing for sewers, and each municipality in the city had to take that on. And I have a tremendous staff of 11 who trained very quickly to start taking billing calls and integrated that with our potholes and missed garbage. And we've done a few things. We're 12 years old, so we've accomplished quite a bit. But in the last year, we have remodeled our call center, gotten new phones, and learned how to use phone system with different queues. And that is something that's totally different for us. I have one Spanish interpreter, and I'm looking to hire a second one because our Spanish calls are increasing. We handle somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 calls a week, and we take calls for all the city government, all departments, And our mayor has started these new initiatives for safer streets, cleaner neighborhoods, and it involves painting over graffiti. So the police department, the city commissioners, and our city councilmen and volunteers from city services, including 311, we go out on weekends and we paint graffiti, and we pick up litter and clean up the city. And Chattanooga has had some issues with gangs, and we have an initiative that the mayor has started where they do call-ins, where they call in gang members, and they offer them an opportunity for education, employment, and get them involved in neighborhoods too, trying to cut down on violent crime. And so far, our crime levels have reduced by 25%, which is quite an accomplishment in a city our size. We were having shootings all the time, and that has gone down. 311 and the police department work closely together, and they do the emails and online entries for things that they see, overgrowth, graffiti. And we have one policeman that has been going out and buying me his own paint and painting over graffiti himself, and he will call us and tell us where he's been so we can put in the orders, and councilmen can see where they've been and where the graffiti is. And they're becoming more and more involved in neighborhoods. And that's one of the things that we as 311 do, because we handle all the calls for the economic and community development or services.
Hi, my name is Kim O'Hara, and I am the knowledge-based website coordinator for Baldwin County, Alabama, which is along the Gulf Coast, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores area. We don't have any potholes, hardly ever, because we don't have any snow or graffiti that I've ever seen, but we have a lot of visitors, and we have a lot of elderly retired people. And so we get, I don't know how many calls we get a day, Shannon can tell you that, but what I'm most proud of is our CSRs. I hear them, I sit in the call center and I hear them every day take calls that I don't even know where they get the answers, but they go out online or go above and beyond, and they've helped people get food, people that were crying, that were getting their babies taken away. I mean, they just really go above and beyond, and I just couldn't be really more proud of them for all they do. Thank you.
I'm Shannon Spivey. I'm also with the Baldwin County Commission, the Customer Relationship Manager, and I am proud of the fact that I think we are ready for a disaster, because we have them quite regularly in our part of the world. So much so that even though we are in the CIS department, we co-located to the emergency management facility so that we're always there during an activation, and the relationship has gotten so good that they're actually doing a statewide activation exercise this week, while me, their call center, service center manager, and our knowledge-based website coordinator are here, because we have people so cross-trained that they can handle anything that comes up.
I'm Ben Curtis with the State of Alaska, Division of Retirement and Benefits. One of the good parts about going last is you get to scratch off all your accomplishments, because you all have mentioned them, but I think what I'm most proud of with my agents is our geographical challenges. The state of Alaska is 633,300 square miles. Plus we have retired members that live in the lower 48 and then other countries. So we have many languages that we have to speak through our call center. We have Russian-speaking members, Spanish, Norwegian, Native, and Filipino. So just to be able to connect with that many people and help and serve them is a great pleasure every day. Our motto in our call center is we're members serving members. We have no general funding, there's no public funds, so we work for the retirees. Through their retirement contributions, we work off their trust funds. So it's great to serve members. You're not working for anybody, no public official. You are, but you're serving your members. So other than that, just thank you all for allowing somebody from Alaska here. We appreciate it.
I know we went over a little bit, but I wish we could take all this good information and publish it somewhere, because I don't think people fully understand and appreciate all the good work that you guys are doing. So again, thank you, and I appreciate you guys listening to me, talking about Philly and what we're doing, but I look forward to hearing more good stuff coming from you and your teams. Thank you so much.